오늘 할 게임은 스탠리 패러블. 우선 데모부터 해보죠. 게임하기 전에 데모부터 해보는 게 좋다고 하더라고요. 데몬스트레이션? 오, 뭐가 있네. 점프 키였고, 안 넣기는 있고. 이거 게임패드로 해도 되겠지. 상호작용 키를 누르면 아무것도 없어도 소리가 나네. 키보드는 아무렇지도 않은데? 뭐지? 오씨, 깜짝이야. A키가 상호작용 키구나. 그럼 X는 뭐지? 왜 X키 누르면 자판 소리가 나는 걸까?
Welcome to the Stanley Parable demonstration.
잠깐, 왜 자막이 안 나와? 전체 자막인디? 왜죠? 왜 소리가 안 나지?
Your number is 28. When your number is displayed, please enter the demonstration room. Thank you, and have a pleasant demonstration.
뭐요? 이제 키보드도 상호작용을 누르니까 키보드 소리가 나네. Waiting room. Please wait for your number and then enter. Thank you. 요 게임 해봤는디? 이 게임 이름이 뭐였지? 페이머스 데모? 밸브 코퍼레이션이잖아. 그러면 요거는 하프라이프 1. 이게 뭐지? 이거는 그 뭐지? 스네이크 나오는 건데? 메탈 기어 솔리드. 요 게임이 뭐였더라, 이름이? 보자. 맞다. 건포인트. 저 게임은 건포인트라는 게임인데 스팀은 안 켜놨었네. 스팀도 켜고. 뭐야, 밸브가 미쳐 날뛰고 있어. 방금 밸브라고 말했나? 스팀이 미쳐 날뛰고 있구나. 됐다. 여러 게임들이 전시돼 있네.
Oh, hello.
Oh,
Welcome to the
hello.
Stanley Parable live demonstration. It will be my pleasure to guide you through this sneak peek at what to expect in the Stanley Parable. A tease, just enough to leave you hungry for more. How exciting. Can't you just feel that nervous tension? The looming uncertainty? Why don't we drink in the anticipation for a moment, just for 20 minutes or so? Please, for just 20 minutes, don't move or act in any way. Simply remain motionless and let the thrill of demoing the Stanley Parable wash over you. Oh, I get it. You're too anxious, you can barely hold still. Well, tell you what, I think we should walk off that nervous energy before getting the demo underway. Here, why don't I take you on a little tour of the facility and show you how we make a demonstration for a game like the Stanley Parable. This is where I and the other proctors have been working meticulously to construct a demo that explains clearly and concisely exactly what the Stanley Parable is, how it plays, and why you should spend real-world money on the main game. Video game demonstrations are tricky, and without the proper technology, you run the risk of the player having no idea what to expect in the full version. Here is one such technology. These buttons are meant to convey the meaning of choice and the impact of the decisions you make. After all, choices carry tremendous meaning and consequence. Didn't you know that? Go ahead. Why don't you try picking one of these buttons to press, and we'll see what your choice says about you.
근데 위에 있는 건 못 누르잖아, 어차피.
How fascinating.
점프키도
Did you know that 94% of all people who select that particular button are sexual predators? You see, our choices really do illuminate the very intangible nature of our minds and souls. Pervert. Okay, what else can I show you then? This place is the buffalo of game design. Nothing is wasted.
아웃 오브 뭐라고 쓰이는 거야? 확대키가 필요해. 파이널 초이스. 에모션 부스. 이모션 부스가 뭐지? 버튼 초이스에서 나왔고. 컴플리먼트. 데모 스탯.
This device tells you whether or not you're inside a video game demonstration. Somewhere around here there's also a device that tells you whether or not you're inside a device that tells you whether or not you're inside a video game demonstration. One of the most important parts of administering any demonstration is pumping up your ego and appealing to insecurities about your sense of self-worth. That's why we use this room to develop cheap compliments to shower on the player during the demo. Go ahead and press that button to see some of the superficial flattery we've been cooking up. My heavens, I've never met someone who can consume as much uranium in a single sitting as you can. Just look at you go. Of all the people I know who are playing this exact demo at this exact moment and standing in this exact room, your performance is easily in the top 5,000. Top 4,700 even. I won't go as far as 4,600. Let's see. Oh, this is embarrassing. I really can't think of anything else to say. No. You've really exhausted my list of compliments. Goodness. That was fast. Either you or this department has a lot of room for improvement. Okay then, what's next?
차라리 당신의 시간을 훌륭하게도 쓰레기통에 버리는 이유와 같은 멘트라도 넣어주던가. 원래는 내가 사용하려고 했던 거죠.
Now here's what we use to convey story. These booths convert text from a story into raw emotion. Go ahead, step into one of them and feel the sheer power of narrative exposition.
와,
It was there,
점프인데.
and within the shame he carried that ocean breeze did drift, the fierceness of the tides, the inevitable collapse of their kingdoms, washed ashore, bereft of shame, martyrs devoid of a cause, ripping and tearing at the eternal seams. A vessel without a captain, carrying itself like plastic in the wind, hinting at a purpose.
Despair.
Where did these cliffs go? These crags that we stood atop?
뭐라는지 하나도 못 알아듣겠네.
Now, we have to save at least a few emotions for the full game.
아, 감정이었어? 해피니스. 에이, 나머지는 안 되네.
Oh, you went in both booths? Oh, how vulnerable of you. If at any point during the demo you need to cry, just let me know and we can take a minute.
그래, 지금 줘.
Now, I think you'll find this exciting. We've actually developed a wall that you can walk through. Go ahead, give it a shot. Oh, guess it's still in development. Right, okay, moving along. How's the anticipation? Still feeling it?
뭐요? 뭐.
Ah, now this room is perhaps the most important you'll encounter in the demo. This is where we determine whether or not the demo has been effective. No! What are you doing? You can't make that decision yet. You haven't played the demo. We've put so much work into this demonstration. Wouldn't it be a shame if you rushed right into making a purchasing decision without savoring it first? Let this one simmer. You'll have plenty of time to decide later.
오픈해도 한 5분 했나? 그럼 이거라도 열어봐.
And there you have it. Everything you need to know about how video game demos are made. However, it's still important that we address safety concerns.
뭐야, 이렇게 짧아?
Please closely observe the following possible
20분이라며.
negative side effects of playing the Stanley Parable. If you agree to be held 100% responsible for any and all injury or long-term damage, mental, physical or otherwise, that may occur while playing the demo, please do not press the large red glowing disagree button at this time. Nothing? No objections? You're quite sure about that? Well, all right then. In the event that you do experience one or all of the previously listed symptoms, let's establish a signal for you to convey to me that you wish the demonstration to be terminated. Please step into the dance perimeter.
뭐? 댄스 모습.
Please perform a dance.
음악이 내 취향이 아닌데?
Your dance has been recorded. In the event that you feel confused or disoriented by anything you see inside the demo, perform that dance and I will terminate the demo immediately. Right. All preparations have been made. It is time at last. Are you prepared for the Stanley Parable?
Yeah.
Oh wait, what are we doing here?
Welcome to the
Did we not-
Stanley Parable demonstration. Your number is 20.
Okay, I'm lost. Let's just get back to the green room and start the demo again. I must have done something wrong the first time.
그린룸이면 여긴가? 그림은 똑같네. 아니, 사일런트.
Okay, here we go. The Stanley Parable demo, take 2. Finding the demo, learning exactly what the Stanley Parable is. Here it comes. Oh wait, what's this?
8. 8.
Wait.
Eight.
This is all
Eight.
wrong. This isn't the Stanley Parable. This is a game where you press a button and it says 8. Not only is the Stanley Parable not a game about continuously pressing the number 8, I can guarantee that this button does not appear anywhere in the main game. Why is it here instead of the demo for the Stanley Parable? Where did the demo go? There was an actual demo here before. Something has gone wrong. It's all gone horribly wrong. We need to get you out of here before you start forming impressions of the Stanley Parable based on whatever the hell this 8 game is. We need to get up. We need to start over. You mustn't stay here another minute. Out, out, out. Go, go, go.
1부 동안 8만 말하면 어떻게 되려나?
Now, I think perhaps you've misunderstood me, so let me reiterate as clearly as I can. This is not the Stanley Parable. What you are doing is pushing a button over and over that does nothing but speak the word 8. Has that gotten through? You may be continuing to press this button under the impression you're playing the Stanley Parable right now, an assumption that is, I should remind you again, entirely erroneous.
8.
멘트는 끝난 건가?
Doesn't even make sense.
아니군.
Why would I have gone to all of this elaborate setup just to demonstrate a game that doesn't do a single thing except repeat the word 8? The waiting room, the green room, the tour of the facility, all of that for no reason other than to contextualize and build up this particular game. Why? What about this game deserves any of that time and attention? Are you seeing something in it that I'm not?
8.
네.
Okay, here's the deal. It isn't possible that you still think this is the Stanley Parable. I've restated the fact too many times, which means that you are now consciously choosing to delay the actual demo as long as possible. Is that it? Are you afraid of the Stanley Parable? I suppose another possibility is that you can't hear me because you're playing with the sound off. In which case, what are you even getting out of this 8 game in the first place? This scenario is perhaps even more concerning.
8.
이제 진짜 끝났나?
You really are finding this amusing, aren't you? The experience of pushing a button and it says 8. Is this intrinsically captivating to you on its own as a legitimate experience? I mean, I'm starting to wrap my head around the idea, but it's not all the way there. How do you get into this demo? Are you our target market for the game? Should I be concerned for the Stanley Parable sales numbers right now?
8.
The funny thing is, you haven't even played the Stanley Parable yet. How can you be sure that this is a better game? Is this simply more compelling than you imagine the Stanley Parable to be? Have you formed such a rich vision of the game already? What exactly did I do that gave you such a miserable, awful impression of what it's like to play the Stanley Parable? Was it the dance? Yes, it was almost certainly the dance. I regret that now.
8.
진짜 끝났나?
Well, the good part is that if this is your metric for quality in a game, when we do get to the Stanley Parable, you'll be thrilled, shocked, blown away. Every one of your faculties will be enraptured by the experience of a game that does anything more than say 8 over and over. Yes, I can't wait for your entire world to be shattered and rebuilt. A magical moment we'll all share together.
8.
Oh, I'm not going to pretend I don't know what's going on here. You're so utterly compelled by this game that you don't intend to stop playing it until you pass out from physical exhaustion. Well, tell you what, I'll just be right here and wait for you to finish. I'm sure the Stanley Parable demo will still be out there somewhere when you're all done. In the meantime, I'm going to stop acknowledging you and just let you get it out of your system. Please, enjoy the 8 game. Take as much time as you need.
8.
이제 진짜 끝났나 보다.
8.
진짜 끝났나 보네. 이제 어디로 가야 되지?
You're done. Well, in that case, what do you say we get back to business and start this demo over from the top?
처음 있던 장소. 아, 마우스가 너무 빨라가지고 이렇게 돌았나보네. 뭐? 70?
Welcome to the Stanley Parable
Yes, we heard it all the first time.
오.
Okay, now let's take a minute to get something straight here. When you sit down to play this demo, you are assuming an amount of responsibility for its outcome. Now, I can't say for certain whether you caused us to encounter the 8 game rather than the Stanley Parable, but I think it's a pretty safe assumption that you had something to do with it. At this time, please take a minute to think about all of the mistakes you've made in playing this demonstration, as well as your lack of respect for demo taking in general.
Think about mistakes. 실수를 생각해보라. Keep going. Dig real deep. Okay. 고맙습니다.
Wonderful. I could really feel the introspection on my end. Now that we're all on the same page again, I feel ready to attempt the demonstration once more. In this third attempt, we shall truly come to understand the meaning of the Stanley Parable. Let the demonstration begin. What? No, it can't be over yet. You didn't see anything. Everything that was supposed to demonstrate why the Stanley Parable is a quality experience worth your time and money. It was here somewhere, I'm sure of it. Oh, no. We have to get out of here. We have to find something for you to do, anything. The demo cannot end like this. Hurry, this way.
가만히 있으면 또 멘트가 나오려나? 하긴 데모니까 없나 보네요.
Okay, yes. This is new. This is different. Surely there must be a game somewhere in here. Okay. Oh, how about this cup? Yes, go pick up the cup.
뭐?
All right, now put it, in the bin. You did it! You won! You know what you get for winning? An achievement. Wow, the Stanley Parable just keeps getting better and better. In fact, let me
진짜
take
도전과제 있나? 이씨 잘못 눌렀다. 아 맞다. 그러고 보니까 이거 얻어야지지. 스팀 그거를 안 보고 있었네. 끝났군. 그러면은 도전 과제가 OPQRS OPQRS 진짜 도전 과제가 있나? 오 진짜 있어. 뭐야 이거? 데몬데 도전 과제가 있어? 와우. 오 도전 과제가 있구나. 아니 8을 몇 번 눌러야지 8이라는 도전 과제가 깨지는 거야? 한참 눌렀는데 나도.
Little survey of your experience. Based on what you've played so far, would you purchase the Stanley Parable? You responded,
"What a clear and straightforward demonstration of the merits of the Stanley Parable. I am convinced of the quality of the full game."
incredible. You really do get it. You understand. Oh, I was so worried. I just wanted you to know what I see in the Stanley Parable. What I think makes it, well, special. It's so very difficult to put into words. Oh, we're all beyond that now, aren't we? Come along, let's get to the end and the final choice.
문 열어줘.
Ending, where are you? Where are you?
Disagree. 부정.
Is this it? Yes, the end. Now, this is where we want the demo to be over. And I think it's time for you to log your final decision as to whether or not the Stanley Parable is any good. And it all comes to this. Please consider very carefully before answering. Much is at stake. Is it working? Are you sure? You sure you pressed the button? What? No, we finished the demo. Did it start again? Hello? Is anyone there? They already finished. They said they liked it. I need someone to stop the demo. Hello? We need to go back. We need to get out of here.
나가는 데가 두 군데냐?
Oh no, what's going on? Where is everyone? Okay, over to the left, down this way.
아무것도 안 눌리네. 아, 문 안 닫히는구나. 뭐야? 이모션 부츠? 뭔 챔버?
Oh, nice and quiet. Finally. Well, I suppose we can both agree that I failed, haven't I? My job was to be a teacher, and I so badly wanted to teach you exactly what the Stanley Parable is supposed to be, but somehow I couldn't. Well, at any rate, I don't know if I care for the Stanley Parable anymore. Do you think any of this is actually in the main game? Honestly, I doubt it. What would that even look like? No, I think I've had enough of it. No more doors, no more demonstrations, no more endings. That's the other problem with this game. There's too many bloody endings. I'm sick of them. How can one game end so many times? It doesn't make sense. Oh, but back at the beginning of the demonstration, that was lovely. No concerns about where it was all going. No confusion. Just a blank slate.
점프키라도 있으면
Yes, that's
좋겠다.
what I want. A game of beginnings. Hey, do you remember, just a few minutes ago, when we met for the first time, and I showed you the technology used to make the demo, because I thought there actually was a demo. Oh, we were so naive back then, how little we knew of the world. And then when we ended up back in the waiting room, even though you'd already done that before, yes, it's all so fresh in my memory. They were such wonderful moments. Oh, and then when we played the game with the cup and you won, and then we kept wandering and we ended up in a stairwell somewhere and we just kept climbing and climbing, flight after flight after flight. I thought they would never end. And then we were on some kind of catwalk. I didn't have any idea what was down there. Did you? And we just kept going and we found that elevator and it said escape on it. And we talked about it for a while. About how we couldn't possibly know whether this was really an escape, but it seemed worth a try, and at the very least it would be an adventure. So we got inside and we rode the elevator up and up and up. And we had some sense that the end was coming, but we couldn't possibly know when. And then after so long it finally stopped, and we stepped out into the lush outdoors, the trees, the wildlife, the sun rising on a new and glorious path. Freedom. We were free. There was nothing to think, nothing to know. Simply us being right there in that moment. Wasn't it so beautiful? Wasn't that moment so singularly, piercingly beautiful? we were free.
오. 게임에 나오는 전투가 끝인가? 아웃 나가라고요? 어빈 이거? 뭐야 13분 하고 있었잖아. 언제부터 켜져 있던겨? 아무튼 그러면 본편을 해봅시다. 시작. End is never the end. 무한반복이구만. 근데 2로 끝나는 건 없는데.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
안 나갈 건데. 난 키보드나 누들기가 왔어.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
끝? 뭐야? 어떻게 된 거지?
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
알았어, 나갈게. 나가면 되잖아. 설마 여기 오래 있으면 전부 다 다칠라나? 좋은 장소인데? 한번 가보겠습니다.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
음료를 줘. 넌 동전도 없니? 집해도 돼.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
오, 풍경 좋네.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
점프키가 있으면 좋을
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
와우, 아무것도 없는 곳에서 키보드 소리를 내다니. 입으로 내는 소린가. 이젠 멘트도 안 나오네.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
떨어질 수 있나?
I realize that investing your
떨어질 수
trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
길은 개척하라고 있는
What?
것이라.
Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
레드?
Aha,
파란색이 더
perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
블루다.
All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map. Because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. A 1? I mean, I can understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a 1? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look. Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
5점 받고 싶어하는 꼬맹이 같네.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
내가
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
엔딩이 아직 아니구만. 오, 마인크래프트.
Well, Stanley,
점프
is
키가
this any
없는
better?
마인크래프트.
At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley.
끔찍하군.
Will it
점프
ever
없는
be enough?
마인크래프트라니.
Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here, no, here, and then... Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course, and just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. Ah, but you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable.
닫아라. 필요 없다. 점프키가 필요해. 간절할 정도로 점프키가 필요하다. 마인크래프트. 점프키를 다오. 들어가는 거 말고 방법이 없나? 점프 없는 마인크래프트라니. 패티 없는 햄버거 같구만. 닭이 없는 치킨 같구만. 치즈가 없는 피자 같구만. 답이 없나 보네.
Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond.
오, 저기 들어가야 갈 수 있구나.
Everything. Yes, yes, yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
오 예.
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
Nope. 여기도 풀이 자라?
Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
New game. 무슨 게임이 나올까? 오, 포탈이다.
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
여기가.
It's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte. Genius. No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through one of these games, and I highly doubt...
괜히 들고 왔어. 소리가 안 나잖아. 얘 얼마나 깊은 지하야? 라디오 전파가 안 터지다니. 어? 어? 뭐야, 라디오 사라졌어. 와, 분기점이 진짜 많다. 빛을 향해 뭐야, 제자리잖아. 여기로 오는 게 아닌가? 어?
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon.
터미네이터님.
Very soon. I can wait.
하면 터미네이터밖에 생각이 안 나. 터미네이터도 꽤 오래됐는데. 터미네이터는 2까지가 괜찮았던 것 같아. 뭐 3까지 괜찮게 볼 수는 있겠다.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
야, 5까지 갔던가. 아니다. 4는 괜찮다고 하는 사람들도 있긴 했는데. 나기보단 뭐 터미네이터 얘기할 필요 없지.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
그래, 왼쪽 왔어.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
사장실. 보스룸. S룸인데? 기분 탓인가? 뒤에가 살짝 보였었던 것 같아.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
그 2845를 어디다 입력하라고?
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
그러니까 2845를 어디다... 아, 여기구나. 시야가 좁고.
2845.
왜 꼭 하라는 대로 하고 싶어지지가 않지?
Stanley simply began entering random codes into the keypad, knowing forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
엘리베이터만 보내보려고 했는데 방금 기분 탓인가 내 캐릭터가 점프를 뛴 것 같은데.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
카메라 말고 버튼이 없잖아.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
뭐야, 떨어져도 아무것도 없네. 근데 이거 버그 아니야? 실수로 떨어졌는데 아무것도 못하잖아. 뭐야 이게? 아니 세상에, 버그라니. 제작자 양반 이게 무슨 말이오? 진행이 안 되잖아. 노크립이라도 치고 싶은데 콘솔 창도 없고. 마이 갓. 답이 없네. 아, 뭐야. 뉴 게임 해야 되잖아.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
전력 낭비를 하면 안 되지. 띠디. 바꿨지? 여기 소리가 다르네. 인풋 뭐? 리버? 뭘로 해야 되는지 모르는데? 아, 이렇게 하면 올라갈 수가 있네. 점프가 안 돼도 점프나 마찬가지지 뭐 이 정도면. 올라갔자. 아, 여기도 있네. 디디. 패스워드 좀 알려줄래? 싫은 말고. 아무런 멘트도 안 들리지? 뭐야? 깜짝이야.
When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
안 갈 건데?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
자유를 위하여 freedom.
Look, Stanley, but in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death.
뭐야,
Good
아까
job,
그 높은
Stanley.
데서 떨어져도 안
Everyone thinks you are
죽었으면서
very powerful.
안 죽고 떨어질 수 있는 방법 없나?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
나머지 다 꺼야지 그거구나. 위치 옮겼어. 이거 다 채워보고 싶다. 끌 필요가 없었네. 한 판에 한 개씩. 좋아.
When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
죽지 않고 떨어지는 방법을 찾아봐 주마.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
박스. 근데 박스가 너무 낮아. 차량으로 한번 가볼까? 우선 박스 먼저. 여기로 떨어지면 죽지 않을 텐데. 떨어지는 것도 아니구나. 점프키가 있어야 돼. 점프키를 달라. 저쪽으로 이동을 할 테니까. 내려갈 수 있는 방법이 없구나.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
떨어진 김에.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
없어. 왜? 찾아야 되는구나. 두 개까지는 여기에 있고 나머지는 다른 데 있구나. 그럼 다른 방을 들어가.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
다른 방 어디? 저긴 아니고. 옆 사무실은 어떻게 가지? 스파이더 카드 놀이 같은 창이 보이네.
When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
이번엔 위로 올라가 보죠.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley.
어?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. Sorry, but you're in my story now.
관통할 수 있는 벽을 개발 중이라며.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
컨트롤러는 안 되나? 게임패드에 G키가 어딨어 이 멍청아.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
백투워크를 작업으로 들어온다라기보단 일하러 돌아온다가 맞지 않을까? 회사로 간다든가. 뭐 나보다 영어 잘하는 사람들일 테니까.
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
TV? TV
And
좋지.
so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
가족 없다며.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
저녁? 넘버룩 버튼이 있는 건 안 되나?
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
예.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
키보드에 피키는 없잖아. 아니 키보드래. 게임패드에 피키는 없잖아. 결론은 키보드로만 알한 건가?
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
L-key.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
누를 건데? 8?
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
안 누르면 진행 안 되잖아. 질문할 건데 내가 왜 여기 있는 거지? 아니지. 날 필요 없고. 여긴 어디요? 여긴 어디냐? 내가 누구냐? 등등등 할 얘기 많은데 역시 진행이 안 되잖아.
I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again.
Die?
And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I
어? 아니 로딩이라도 뜨던가. 뭐야 이게. 됐다. 다시 시작이군.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
오,
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a
여기 차
memo.
있는 거? 안 보여.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
아, 적어도 2개 이상은 더 찾아야 될 텐데.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first,
아, 근데
just to
그렇게
admire
떨어져도
it.
죽을 것 같은데.
Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
일단 여기서
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
위로 올라갈 때
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
여기서 걸치면 안
Please,
되는데.
stop trying to make every decision by yourself. What?
됐다.
Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you?
아, 근데
Why?
여기서 떨어지면-
I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
아, 적어도 한 저만큼 돼야지. 그래도 죽을려나? 뭐 해보고.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I want it to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
무엇을 보여줄 것인가?
What do we want? What are we looking for?
뭐지? 오!
Here! Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place,
wow.
Stanley, I think I feel happy.
떨어질 순 없네.
I actually feel happy.
와, 끝내주는구만. 오, 개인적으로 부금도 마음에 들어. 오, 이미지가 계속 바뀌네. 하면 포탈밖에 안 떠오르는지? 요거 보니까 에리어 51 게임이 왜 떠오르나 모르겠네. 그것도 재밌었는데 어디서 구하는지도 모르겠어. 그땐 불법 다운한 거라.
No, wait. Where are you going?
알았어, 안 갈게. 게임 진행이 안 되잖아. 근데 어차피.
Oh no! Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
괜찮아.
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
어? 뭐야, 이거밖에 없어?
Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
그래, 내려가 볼게. 내려올 땐 빠르네. 근데 이거 말고는 없는데.
Good, good. We can't be too safe. Promise me you won't go back there. Just stay here.
얼마나 머무르라고. 빨리 다음 문을 내놔라.
No! What do we talk about? You're risking everything we achieved here.
이제 메탈 슬러그에 UFO가 나와도 놀랍지 않을 거야.
You heard me before, didn't you? You will die! What about this isn't getting through to you?
다 사라졌어.
You are going to stay here, aren't you?
아무것도 없는 이 공간에? 미쳤니? 별이 다시 생겼다. 와. 뭐야, 반복이잖아. 무한반복 안 좋아해. 헬로 월드? 난 굿바이 월드다 이거사.
No! Oh, thank God you lived.
뭐?
You had me worried there for
이노키에서
a moment.
떨어졌는데.
Now,
아까랑 비슷한데 안
please
죽었어.
get back to the other room. There. See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really can. If we stop
내가 우주를
moving,
좋아하긴
we
하는데
just have to stop
아무것도
moving.
못하는 것보단 낫지.
Stanley, go back. There's nothing good that can come from this.
다음 맵을 보여줄 거니? 이젠 멘트도 없어. 멘트가 떨어졌어. 멘트가 MT니?
No. No. What are you doing, Stanley? Do you just not believe me? What can I say to convince you?
다음 방을 보여준다고 말해. Goodbye world.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
그대로인 것 같아.
Yes.
늦어진 건가?
Perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about.
안 죽잖아.
My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know, and do you actually want to stay alive? Or are you just teasing me?
알고 있네. Just teasing you. 마지막인가?
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
와, 진짜 선택지 많다.
When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. And here it was, the lounge. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
들어가 봅시다.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
아, 왜 여기서 손이 한다? 일단 이쪽 먼저. 여기 회의룸이잖아. 아, 왼쪽 방이네.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
오, 아까 거기잖아.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
아, 이렇게 끝나는 거구나.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Ending.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. It was okay. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
싫은데? 난 보석을 깔 건데? 야, 이 게임 용량이
But Stanley
1기가밖에 안
didn't
돼.
want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
레프트 말고 갈 데가 없잖아. 뭐야, 문 닫혀 있어.
Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake.
왼쪽으로 다.
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see, we went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
왼쪽으로 가봐야지. 여기 아까 거기지.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes.
싫어.
Okay. We just have to get back to, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
400? 550? 이번엔 왼쪽으로.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
왼쪽, 오른쪽, 왼쪽.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
뭐야?
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, Did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or...
예, 새로운
Hold
스토리다.
on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay
이것도 사람이
then.
있어야 재밌는 거지.
It's an adventure. Come, Stanley.
와.
Let's find the story.
원더풀. 오른쪽 가봐야지. 와 진짜 분기점 많다. 뭐야 이거? 아, 뭐가 이렇게 많아?
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
아 왜?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
오, 또 새로운
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything? Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps. Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay? I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart. All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
오, 다른 길이다. 땡큐. 아니, 모니터로 못 보잖아. 라인 안 따라가면 어떻게 되나?
No, I'm down. We're leaving it up to the line from now on.
다행이다. 모니터를 끄고 싶다.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
괜찮은데 모니터 공포 영화에 나올 법한 장면 옵션 오디오 음악 모니터 없나?
Wait, cut the music, go back and look at that fern.
양치 식물이 뭔지 몰라.
Wait, what?
오, 모니터.
We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
아이, 모니터가 없고.
Oh, no, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Well, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Once again.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious.
오, 좋아.
This all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
어디?
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything.
제자리
What do you want
걸음이잖아.
our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
갈 수밖에 없네. 역시 제자리 걸음이잖아.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine. Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with that counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
아 뭐야 왼쪽에 안 열어줘. The confusion ending. 엔딩이네?
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending?
Restart.
And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped?
Huh?
Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay.
뭐야?
I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime,
뭐?
all of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
방금 전 그 엔딩은 뭐랬니?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he might find an aunt coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
진짜 많다. 나 이 막 싫어. 왜 첫 봐도 분이 있잖아.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
이 소리였나? 왜 안 눌리지? 움직이면서는 안 눌리나 보구만.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control
escape.
Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
닥터우가 떠오르는데 이렇게 좁고 긴 공간에서
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
이런 식이지. 좁고
At this
긴
point,
공간도
Stanley was making a
주인공이
conscious,
보고
concerted
싶기도
effort to walk forward
뒤에서
and
적들이
willingly
쫓아오고.
confront his death.
괜찮아. 주인공은 안 죽어. 뭐야?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the big picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
열려.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
오, 예. 아, 원래 스토리가 이렇게 되는 거구나. The Stanley Parable. Yay.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever.
오,
What
처음 보는
exactly
것이야
did
또.
the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
와우.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance,
오, 여기
death
있겠다.
becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see
이거
that
아니고?
Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Office computer. The office. The two door. 이것도 재밌는데. 47번이었나? 그 방에서 나와서 오피스 레이아웃을 지나 나온 다음에 코리도 모르겠다. 씨. 왜 다시 켜졌어? 띠띠띠. 버튼 사운드. 오, 요거 마음에 든다. Credits. The office. Maintenance room. 이 방 마음에 드네. 보스 오피스. 박물관이구만. 언더그라운드. 뭔가 말이 들리는데 저쪽 가면 엔딩 나올 것 같아. 반대편으로 가볼까? 프리덤 엔딩. 이거 보고 싶은데. 모니터 룸 엘리베이터.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
프리덤. 왜? 카운트다운 디스크. 해보고 싶다고. 모니터를 누르는 건 아닌데. 아, 여기도 넓다. 427번. 여기도 그렇잖아. 스탠리 오피스. 제로. 여긴 또 어디야? 젠딩? 젠딩 레벨. 이 아니고 레버구나. 이런 데는 못 봤는데. 못 본 데 진짜 많구나. 진짜 장난 아니게 넓다. 아니고 많다라고 해야 되나? 트레일러. 미팅룸. 1 옵션, 2 옵션, 3가 아니잖아. 벤트? 자유를 위해서 나가야겠어. 안 눌리잖아. 아, 이런. 폼이었다니. 이게 나가는 거면 아까 그 의자는 뭐지? 오, 뭐야 이건 또. 워존? 이 게임 전에 해본 적 없지만 본 적은 있는 것 같은데. 에일리언 베이스. 와, 진짜 많다. 야, 그래, 여기 나레이션 아우테이크. 소리가 작게 들리는데. 스탠리 뭐?
Stanley pushed the orange lever.
그럼 2번 엔딩을 봅시다. 엑시트. 업.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now. It'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time...
나가기? 나가기 버튼 없는데? 재개, 다시, 저장, 옵션, 돌아가기. 나가기 없잖아. 아, 이게 나가기구나. Fuck! 게임으로 돌아가기인 줄 알았더니.
This is the story of...
뭐야?
Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure.
뭐 임마?
What if he had to make a decision? What if it...
다시. 됐어.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall.
설마 모니터 요것도 처음부터 다신가?
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
8, 4.
언니 발레드님이 하이.
어서 오세요. 외국 분이신가? Hello.
언니 발레드님이 오고 있는데 오빠니.
오케이. Bye. My English level is horrifying. 빠른 선택이군. 좋은 선택이지. 근데 Alt 탭 누르면은 스팀이 보였어야 되는데. 아니 뭐 상관은 없다만.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word Escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
아, 너무 멀어.
언니 발레드님 어서 오세요.
이? Hi guys. 바로 나가셨겠지?
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
없겠지? 아무도. 아마도.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, by plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
스타. 예.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
The Stanley Parable.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
I love this sound. 근데 굳이 왜 영어로 말하는 거지?
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Off.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another?
안 보여.
No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
그래, 안 보여.
But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and be your only true choice. Do choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time.
예. 뭔가 수어사이드 가이가 떠오르네. 죽는 길만 고르고 있잖아. 뭐야? 게임 오버? 진짜? 진짜? 무슨 뭐 이런 게 다 있어. 이런. 와, 저기서 그렇게 끝나는구나. 스킵할 거야. 안 갇힐 거야.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
어? 아, 내가 닫은 거구나.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
아, 프리덤 엔딩 한번 보고 싶은데.
It was okay. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked... All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see, there's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
뭐야?
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
그래. The Stanley Parable Worldwide Leaderboard. 어허. 뭐 9328등이야? 멋있군.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
아, 이 버튼은 너무 시끄러운데? 지금 당장 때려치고 싶게끔 만드는 버튼인데 너무 크잖아! 분명 카드를 갔던 것 같은데? 와, 원상복구대. 버그인가? 노린 건가? 죽었다 살리기를 반복하는구만.
You heartless bastard.
내가 몇
Did you
번을
do it
살린 줄
because
알아?
you hate babies or purely to spite me?
끝이었잖아.
Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's
5점을
game?
두 번이나
Just to ease the
줬는데.
pain. Let's see.
100점 만점에 5점이야. 또 마인크래프트
Yes,
나오잖아.
this seems
반복이네.
like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
또
Well, Stanley,
마인크래프트.
is this any better? At
Jump
last, the
down
one
in
thing you've
Minecraft.
always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it
돈가스에
enough?
돼지고기가 안
Tell me
들어있는
that,
돈가스.
Stanley. Will it
아니,
ever be
소고기로 만든
enough?
돈가스도 있다고 들은
Well,
거
I'll say
같은데.
this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here. No, here. And then... Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own
엔딩 볼만한 거 거의 다 본
inadequacy.
거 같네.
Ah, but you've
공략
only
같은 거
seen it from the
봐가면서 새로운
outside.
엔딩 보는
You've
것도
only gotten
재밌긴
half the
하겠다만.
experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable. Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
마이닝.
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
오예. 그래봐야 여기 위로 못 올라가잖아.
Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new
여기가
game.
끝이네. 끝이 있는 거였구나. 동굴이 끝이 없는 건가 했더니.
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Ooh.
아, 소리가 들리는데 너무 작아서 그렇구나.
Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is. Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte. Genius.
아, 포탈음악 너무 좋아요.
No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through
내 거
any more
내놔,
of these
임마.
games. And I highly doubt you're any wiser
내
for
거
the
가지고 갔어.
experience. Which is why, rather than
이게
continue
바로
to
그
waste...
뚫리는 벽이니? 나가는 길이 있구만. 아니었구만. 아, 프리덤 엔딩 보고 싶은데. 가만히서 426 427
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
뭔가 분위기가 바뀐 것 같은데?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
아까도 이랬나?
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. It was okay. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
못 올라가네.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
뭐 엔딩 볼만한 건 본 것 같네요. 그러면 오늘은 여기까지. 내일은 뭘 하지? 아 뭐야, 스팀 왜 렉 걸렸어? 응? 스팀 스크롤바가 안 된다? 아 된다. 위자드 레전드 괴원이 나을까? 카타마리. 근데 카타마리가 왜 괴원이라고 됐는지 모르겠네. 뒤에 뭐가 있지? 아, do stop. 이건 했지? 내일은 또 병맛 배근 할까? 아니면 다른 게임을 할까? 무튼 오늘도 재밌게 했네요. 그러면 여기서